Well, hey, peepers, it's me again, Margaret. Yes, it's me again. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. Sun's went behind the tree. I can see just a little glistening of it. But I'm on here because, well, I had an experience yesterday. Yesterday, I was cleaning up my office, rearranging some things, going through some stuff. I had already rearranged the day before the desks and stuff. But I was pretty much just going through things yesterday. And as I turned around, the sun was going down just right, and I could see that sunset. And it was so beautiful. But what caught my eye wasn't the sunset. What caught my eye was something else. And it was kind of like, have you ever watched Batman? And they turn on this light and this bat shines up in the sky and everybody can see it? Okay. Well, as the sun was setting, I have on my window a sticker, a decal like, and it says, put on the whole armor of God. And there's a shield, and in the shield there's a cross cut out. And of course the words are around it and has all the little different things of armor. And it was shining, the sun was shining straight through that, and it reflected it on my desk. So there was a thing about like this on my desk, and it caught my eye. It was so bright. It was like, and I was like, wow. And I said, I love you, Elohim. And I put my hand on that bright, area with that decal on there. And I looked at it, and I looked up at the window and seen it on the window, and as the sun was coming through it, it just gave me good feeling. I was like, oh. And then it gave me a thought, and I was like, well, God, come to think of it, how do you wear the whole armor of God? You hear that. Everybody says, put on the armor of God, and then they tell you all the different things and what they mean and stuff. But how do you wear it? How do you wear the armor of God? How do you wear it? So he says, close your eyes. I was like, huh? He said, close your eyes. Do you want to wear it? I was like, yeah. He said, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes. He says, now turn around and find the light. So I'm like, my eyes are closed. He said, you're in a spirit world. Get in a spirit world and turn till you find the light. So I sat there and I calmed my mind, and I turned my body in the physical world till I found the light. Now, y'all, the light was not where you would think it would be. My eyes were shut, and when your eyes are shut and somebody does a flashlight or something, you can see that light. I wasn't toward the sunlight, okay? I was actually with my back toward the window, because, I know where I was at in my room. And as I turned, when I started concentrating on God and looking for the light, looking for that light, I turned this way, which meant the window was behind me and I could see the light. And I was like, okay, I see the light. And he said, put your hands up. So I put my hands up, and y'all, it felt like somebody put a shirt on me. But the moment that shirt got on me and they let it go, it was like, oh, it was heavy. It was so heavy. And I was like, how do they wear this? He said, that's not all of it. I was like, oh my gosh. He says, now put out your arms. So I'm going, and literally, y'all, I could feel the weight of this shirt on my arms and my body. It literally feels like somebody's pushing on my shoulders, right? And I'm like, oh. So I put my arms out. And all of a sudden I feel like somebody is putting something over my head. You know, my arm was through, and they put it over my head, and they shut my body into it, and they started clamping it shut on this side, and I'm going, oh my God. I mean, it was just so, can I breathe? You know, and then all of a sudden they slid my arm into something, and they started snapping it all the way around on both of them. And I felt like, can I put my arms down, because I can't hold this. So he let me put my arms down. I'm like, and I felt like I was like this, you know. I was just like a muscle bound kind of person, because it wasn't, you know, it didn't let me put my arms down beside me. And I was like, wow, this is really heavy. And then he says, lift your legs. And I'm going, how am I going to? So I was like, and I was trying to lift my leg, you know, and then I could see that my leg was lifting. And they clamped this heavy thing around my leg. And then they did the other leg. And then I had to lift my foot and put it up. And then they closed. It was like a shoe, but it was like a shoe that had hinges in it, you know, shut. Almost like a little torture chamber, you know. This whole thing was like that. And I was like, you know, and so eventually they had me covered from here all the way down. And then all of a sudden this helmet came on. And you couldn't really see, but you could see, you know. It was kind of weird, almost like you would see that in the old movies where they had these metal helmets, and then they clamp it on, you know, and they put this thing around your neck, you know, to clamp it to and stuff. And it was like, oh, so it don't fall off is what it was. And I was like, how would you fight in this, Almighty? How would you even fight in it, you know? And then all of a sudden they put a sword. The sword was on this side, and they put a slight knife on this side, you know. And I'm like, literally, y'all, it felt like I was trapped in this metal crypt. It was that. And I was like, oh God, how did they fight back in the day, you know, and stuff like this? And how would you fight in this? You know, if you've got to put on the whole armor of God, you can't even move. How do you fight? God said, prayer. I was like, huh? He said, you fight with prayer. I said, okay. With prayer. I said, but I can't get on my knees. I can't. He says, be still. So I was very still. I said, I can't move anyway. He says, now, and mind you, my eyes are still shut. I'm hearing this. I'm seeing this. And he says, look for the light. So I'm looking for the light. And when I looked for the light, it was almost like a beam of light just literally melted me. It was like it went into the armor, the entire armor, and I could just feel it. It was unreal. It was like nothing you could ever imagine. It was almost like I could see in the armor light going everywhere. And I got the feeling of melting, y'all. Just melting, and the armor searing to me, just searing. I mean, just molding to my body, but I didn't feel any pain. It was like, oh. And then all of a sudden, the weight was gone. And I remember going, and I seen my hands. And I said, where'd the armor go? And he said, you're wearing it. The armor goes on the inside. You don't wear it on the outside. Because you fight in prayer. He said, you are protected on the inside. That's how you wear the armor of God. The whole armor of God. And you fight with prayer. Y'all, that was the most amazing experience and teaching that God has ever given. Well, He's given me quite a lot of them. But it was so amazing. Because feeling the weight of it, the weight of the world on you, right? Ugh. And how do you fight this, right? How do you fight in this? And he says, you don't. You fight with prayer. But how you wear the full armor is on the inside to protect the spirit. And I am so thankful to be wearing that armor. It can never be taken away. It is seared within me, under my flesh, in a spirit bond. You know, it's like the helmet's there, there's nothing about me, from what I observed, that was not covered, from my head to my toes to my fingertips. And not even my eyes could be touched, because it was a helmet and there was nothing, there was no holes. You know, it was like looking through a visor, like if you were on a motorcycle and they have these things that come down. It's just, it was weird. It was awesome. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And that happened yesterday. I learned that the whole armor of God is worn on the inside. It's not on the outside. And the way that you fight is in prayer. So echo those halls of heaven, y'all, in your prayer, because God hears them. I thought I'd share. I love y'all. I hope you get something out of this. I hope it inspires you to follow God and search and seek Him and look for that light. I love y'all. Bye-bye.